Good evening. My name is Edward Sanshin Oberholtzer. I'm the resident priest and guiding teacher here at the Joseph Priestley Zen Sangha in Lewisburg, Pennsylvania. We're an affiliate of Empty Moon Zen. Katagiri Roshi left us with a collection of talks entitled, "You've Got to Say Something." When I sat with that local and much beloved Soto priest, Dayan Benaj, we spent a fair amount of time reading through those talks. And yes, somehow, in some way, that is what we, as practitioners of the Dharma, have taken on. We have to say something. One of our grave precepts tells us that we can't spare the Dharma assets. And so I was told when I was first made a Dharma teacher in Boundless Way Zen that the expectation was to share the Dharma with anyone willing to sit long enough to hear it. Of course, you don't need to be articulate. You aren't asked to be profound. The Dharma is anything but profound and articulate. And yet, it is deeply profound. It is deeply articulate. As profound as Zhao Zhou's oak tree in the garden, as articulate as Yun Men's dried shit stick. It speaks out here in the very presence of each of us, in the air, in the wind, the clouds, the very electrons carrying this message over the internet. And there, the Dharma murmurs, it whispers, it sings and chants. Listen. The vast and wide world around us tells the story of the Dharma. I could simply shut up and let the world come forth and speak for itself, to shout for itself, and it will. I had a religion professor at Boston University who used to say, and I had to take into account that he had been at one time a Lutheran minister, a professor who used to compare the Catholic homily to the Lutheran sermon, much to the disadvantage of the Catholics. As Professor Olson put it, a homily was a tedious moralizing discourse, while the Lutheran sermon, or Verkundung, could be translated as proclamation, very much with an exclamation point. And how much this resonates with what we in the Zen world know as a teisho, as a shout, also very much with that voiced exclamation point. And yet, none of this really requires words. No, just as words themselves can be actions, actions voiced as stop or look out or duck here, so actions can be words, can substitute for words. Luther nailed his theses to the cathedral door at Wittenberg. That was a shout, a proclamation, whether you read the words there or no. Lin Shi, coming down off the high seat, grabbing Elder Ding by the collar and pushing him away, well worth an entire sermon. Many years ago, there was a film version of a short story by Robert Graves titled The Shout. It told the effects on a marriage of two characters when they took in a man, played by Alan Bates, who claimed to have lived among Australian Aborigines for decades during which he was taught to shout a shout so intense, so powerful, so devastating that anyone who heard it would die instantly. As you might imagine, things did not go well, but a shout, a teisho that kills, that utterly destroys the ego, the self, now that's a consummation devoutly to be wished. A monk asked Dongshan, when cold and heat visit us, how should we avoid them? Dongshan said, why not go where there is neither cold nor heat? The monk asked, where is there neither cold nor heat? Dongshan said, when it is cold, kill yourself with cold. When it is hot, kill yourself with heat. When a shout kills you, turn towards that shout. Let yourself be extinguished, even if it's just Ellen Bates on screen. Words, 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 said Hamlet. Words rather than actions, yet even he, in setting out that play within a play, treats those mere words as a hook to catch his uncle. Words that, stripped of their meaning, stand themselves as acts. John, in his gospel, tells us, "En arche en ho logos." In the beginning was the Word. The whole universe begins with a word. God moves on the water and utters fiat lux, a word that does not convey simply meaning, a word that transcends meaning, a word that simply is, meaningless, meaningful, flavorless, silent, expressive, a voice of thunder, just this, just let there be light. That simple act, that picture conveying 1,000 words, that word that holds 1,000 actions, that act that speaks volumes. Wun Men gives us, in case 40 of The Gateless Gate, often entitled, Guishan Kicks Over the Water Bottle, just this. When Guishan was at Bai Zhang's assembly, he was cook of the monastery. Bai Zhang wanted to choose a founding teacher for Mount Dagui. He invited all his monks to make a presentation saying, "The outstanding one will be sent." Then he took a water bottle and set it on the floor and said, "Don't call this a water bottle. What would you call it?" The head monk said, "It can't be called a wooden clog." Bai Zhang then asked Guishan's opinion. Guishan kicked over the water bottle and walked out. Bai Zhang laughed and said, "The head monk loses." Guishan thereupon was made the founding teacher at Mount Dagui. And just what is that upset water bottle? Guishan's foot showed the way, that kick, a shout in the dining hall, a shout that kills the ego, a shout that kills the self, a shout that gave Mount Dagui its founding teacher. I love the way Kazan always tells his audience that he had a short verse to comment on the story he had related. He always asks, "Do you want to hear it?" Well, Wun Men gave us a short verse on this koan. Do you want to hear it? Tossing bamboo baskets and ladles away, he swept all impediments before him. Bai Zhang's severe barrier cannot interrupt his rush. Thousands of Buddhas come forth from his toes. That shout comes forth from Guishan's toes. Do you feel its echoes down the ages? It's right here, right now. Thank you.